first word of the stream is no. Thank you,
No.
Kyle. So,
There will be no stream today. Be gone.
oh,
Come
don't
back
say that.
later.
Beanie's running away now. Say bye, Beanie.
Yeah.
Oh, bye, Beanie.
This or a
You can see her in the
perfect
background. Look, she's
transition
running
because
away.
that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about today.
Well, this is Beanie, the bearded dragon, and Andy's going to come and retrieve her if she tries to lemming her way off it.
I probably will.
Yeah, she probably will. Yeah. So, thank you. That's our resident keeper. Thank you, Mr. Andy. Say hello, Beanie.
Squishy
Hello.
dragon.
Over this way. She looks like she's got a right attitude on her. So welcome today. Well, yeah. Today we're going to be talking about insects, and we have our resident. How can I describe you?
Human.
No, not my keeper. We got Kyle with us, so he's got a cryptid that he's going to talk to us about. So I'm going to start this off, and we're going to start talking about interesting insects. So if you hear the dogs in the background, I do apologise again, because she doesn't know how to control them. So, yeah, so today we're going to start off with a little bit of an artistical kind of take on insects and the environment of this beautiful insect. And trust me, they're beautiful. So if I just pop this up for you, so you'll be able to see it. Our first one is... Oh, I've got to sneeze now. Sorry. Oh, excuse me.
Hay fever.
Hay fever. Yes. So our first one is called... Just do this. Oh, it's out of screen. This one is called the Picasso moth. Can you see that?
Picasso.
Picasso. I think I'm having a little trouble with...
I like how those kind of look a little bit like strawberries. Those little red.
They do, don't
bits
they? I'm having a little trouble trying to get it in frame, but I actually did. This was quite quick last night. There's another one down here, but it looked perfect when I started the chat. But this one's called the Picasso moth, and I've got a few little tidbits and everything for you. Where the name came from. Do you know where the name came from?
Named after the car.
It's not named after the car, no, Batman.
No, it's named after one of Batman's villains. It has to be. His villain roster is huge.
Yes, huge. Well, it's actually named after the artist, Pablo Picasso. No, I've got a few thoughts on that naming process, but we'll just head along with it. So the technical name, if I can pronounce this correctly, is Borosea hieroglyphica. So it's... I'll put it in the chat afterwards, below. That's their proper name.
All I have to say about the scientific names of things is Latin.
Yeah.
Shakes my fist at sky.
Well, you can kind of hero. I'm thinking something along the lines of like aero, and being a winged creature, and glyphica from probably the word glyph, like hieroglyph said, you know, like markings on the wings, I'm guessing. This is a pure guess, by the way. It's not, you know, a wholly educated guess.
Aero's normally Latin for like off.
Yeah, aero.
Okay,
But it's Hierro.
Because you've got a boreal,
Yeah.
or I would say flight.
So you'd say flight because of boreal.
Yeah, like up in the air.
Up in the air. Can you hear Andy when he talks?
Yeah.
You
Very low, gravelly, manly voice, like
low gravelly. So
like
actually,
I build sheds and do man stuff like drink beer.
Wear plaid shirts with an axe, walking around a forest. Is that what he sounds
Yeah, yeah.
like? He's got the beard.
Lumberjack
Lumberjack.
fantasies.
He's got the beard, yeah. So these beautiful moths are actually found in northern India and Southeast Asia. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous creatures. It's pity I can't show you the other one. So this was just a quick picture I did a while ago, and they're only actually about 2 inches from, like, the wingspan is only about 2 inches, so it's not
No.
massive. So they're actually quite. Here
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, another one. Species name, it says Hieroglyphica, or are known for the geometric lines and shapes on the forewing. So you can see on the tips of the wings. Now I'm not wholly satisfied with the actual naming myself, because to me it doesn't really say Picasso. If you get what I mean. If you've ever seen any of Picasso's works, they're not as plain, and yeah, I mean, he had a geometrical stage in his life, but not to this extent. I wouldn't
I
really
thought
say,
his
oh,
work.
look at it and say, that's a Picasso moth, not unless you know its name already.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like the patent itself. I don't think it was very representative of the person's work.
Hmm.
Um, hmm. That much makes me think they named it that because that's the first thing they came up with. Like they were just really into Picasso at the time.
Well, it's beautiful to me. To be perfectly honest, it kind of gives me like an old, like, 80s bachelor pad kind of vibe to it. I don't know if you've
Charlie
ever.
Sheen. I knew it.
No, you know the pictures that you'll see in usually in like bachelor pads. So you'll have a woman there, just a portrait of her being all seductive, and it's usually the same kind of colour
Mexi.
scheme and geometrical kind of styling. Oh, aeroplane. So, what do you think?
I know what I think, and what I think of the insect is on the subject of what it reminds me of. I don't know why, but when I looked at it, it reminded me of that Mexican kind of like style, like black and white kind of like some. I don't know what it's called. I assume it's called a sombrero.
Oh, really?
Um, uh, the well, the like mariachi sort of like black and white sort of like outfits and whatnot. That's what it kind of
Oh,
reminds
yeah.
me of. Like when I look at it, I don't know why. That's what was my first thought when I like the saw it.
Hmm, interesting. So, would you think about possibly? I mean, if you were able to, would you have this kind of species in, like, in a collection? Would you say?
A collection. I would say yes, but only because I think the patterns on like the very edges of the wings are interesting. Beyond that, I don't think it's very that interesting to look at. Like personally, if I was a butterfly collector of old, it would definitely have be a good species to have on the wall because after all, I'm a butterfly collector. So
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on the scarcity of the species at the moment, but with the decline in insects, I would say it's at least being pushed towards being threatened species at least, which is unfortunate.
yeah, and there's loads of because when you think about like species that are like going extinct, you tend to think of like biggish kind of animals, like like a Bengal tiger or a panda. Mind you, they're the ones that are the most pushed in the media as well. So that's what you tend to think of about species being on the brink of extinction or
The
are
larger,
going
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But there is a lot different various insect species that are either on the extincted list or on the verge of that list itself, like to becoming extinct.
Actually,
Because
we'll have a little bit more of a chat about the who runs this in Europe and their system in a little while.
mm,
Yeah. Shall we move on?
sure, whatever, your show.
My show.
It is.
So, my next one, keeping on the with art, is this one. And this
I
one
really
is,
like that one.
yeah. And do you know why I put this one in here?
Mm.
Very sneaky, right? This one's called the Picasso bug.
Ah.
So we've got a bug and a moth. Now I find that the patternage with this bug is actually more akin to his work.
I agree with that.
A little bit more
Definitely.
thrown in with a bit more of a South American kind of image, you know, possibly where they got their styles.
It does kind of remind me of those Day of the Dead kind of masks, like because like the way that the those it kind of like looks like eye holes, like a mask or something
Yeah,
that someone would wear, especially with
perhaps
those lines.
perhaps that's why. I wonder if it's something to do with you know, the circles, the eyes on the back of a tiger's ears.
Oh yeah,
Possibly something like that, or a warning like ladybirds or something like that to warn them that they're poisonous.
there's eyes on the back of a tiger's ears to ward off predators. I'm now
Yeah.
100. I'm now 1,000% less afraid of tigers and 1,000% more afraid of what a tiger considers a predator.
Yeah, I'd be more scared
Uh,
of that, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. I do
If you
like that
turn that around,
joke.
it looks a bit like a Day of the Dead skull.
Oh, like a
It does.
Andy said it looks like a candy skull
Because you
or sugar skull.
got the two dots, which are the eyes.
Yeah.
So if you turn it
Yep.
round, you then got the nose and then the green bit at the top, so like the mouth.
Oh, so it's an upside down.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my!
if you turn it round,
That's
Oh
what
my
I thought
it's a
too.
Day of the
goodness!
Dead skull.
If you turn it upside down, there's a mouth and everything, and a nose. That's
Yeah, yeah.
strange.
That's what I was saying. Like it looks like a mask or something that one would wear.
Wow. It's
It's
like
got hair at
looks
the
like
top, man.
oh, what was his name? Out of Banjo Kazooie, the mask.
Oh,
Bondiga.
You're talking about Banjo, you're thinking of Crash Bandicoot.
Banjo.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
thinking
Crash
of Crash
Bandicoot.
Bandicoot.
Oh, my brain's
Yeah.
going now. I got all excited about this mask. I think.
So the Tiki
Uh,
Mask thingy.
Yeah, Tiki mask.
Yeah. Oh.
So when you said Banjo Kazooie, he was like, huh?
I've gone mad. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was confused at first as
I
well.
know. I think I confused myself.
Is it Aku Aku or is that the bad mask?
Aku Aku. I'm not sure. No, Aku Aku's the bad one. I think.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it?
Anyway, we'll save that for gaming.
Yeah,
So
yes, yeah.
again with the Latin names, I think. Well, this is actually called the Sphaeroscoris and Annulus. So I'll put that in the description below because my pronunciation is off. But it's also known as the Zulu hood bug. And apparently it's part of a known group, a group known as the shield-backed bugs. And it's a close relative of the stink bug. So,
Ah,
yeah,
smelly.
yes. So, if you went to pick this up, it would produce some kind of noxious liquid, you know. So it's going to produce quite an awful, terrible smell. You could, you ain't on camera, don't worry. But interestingly enough, this book is actually full herbivore, so it won't eat any other really or other organic materials like dead things and stuff
Bugs.
like that. Just yeah, or other bugs. So it's actually quite a friendly book.
Similar to the sun beetles.
It is very similar to a sun
And
beetle.
with those, you pick them up as a defence. They tend to do the business on you,
They
and they give off like a faint, like musky smell to deter predators.
The sun beetle have got an awful smell. That's why I don't pick them up. The grubs bite, but the adults don't. But they have a different mechanism of pooping on you. I've actually got some here.
I'm giving off the musky smell.
Oh, do you want to have a look at my little bugs?
I have to take down the
It's
picture
been
and put it.
watered. It's been Hold on. It's alright. I've only got 2 hands. So if we go, I'm only just learning this, you see. Oh, cameras here. See that?
Buggos.
Those are sun beetles. My babies.
Oh,
I can only
thank you.
imagine somebody that has like extreme insect, some kind of insect
It won't
phobia, and
focus.
they accidentally
Right,
find
Amy,
this
when it
scream.
bloody is.
We haven't got fantastic light here, but
True.
Andy tries his best. But these sun beetles actually eat fruit, so they've got a similar diet to the Picasso book, which are beautiful. But the only trouble is with the Picasso book, they are very scarce. So if you ever saw one in the wild, it would be like finding a random bit of gold on your trail, just sitting a lump of gold on your trail. And I'll get too much into that, but it's very rare to see basically in the wild. They're about 6 centimeters, so 6 millimeters, so they're not very big. They're very tiny.
About the size
Tiny.
of a ladybird.
About the same size as a ladybird, yeah. So they're just like tiny little things, but they're that colourful. You won't spot them straight away, but you'd know that something's there. You know what I mean? So there's not really much of a chance of capturing males, females, that kind of thing, and getting them to breed. I haven't read anywhere about possible breeding schemes, and I don't know of any in the keeping in world, in the habit. So anyone who collects bugs, let me know if you've got any, if there's a possible way of breeding them or anything. Just pop it down below because I would like to know. Actually, on this subject, I was reading one of the boards on the web about this book, and actually someone came across one of these while they were opening, I think it was goodness, I think she said broccoli or something, I'm not sure why, but apparently she had one of these things in a bag of spinach or broccoli or something, and they wondered whether they'd be able to release it into the wild, or they'd have to give it back and they'd destroy it because it being a foreign species, and it might obviously encroach on the our population. So it was in this country, which is quite interesting. But this guy's an expert. I can't remember his name, but he basically said you've only got 2 options really. He says either let it out and hope that it hasn't got any eggs, and it'll probably die on its own anyway because it being on its own, or give it back and have it destroyed, which
Or make a little habitat and keep it in there.
That's exactly what I'd do. I'd make a habitat and do a bit of research, ask him like what habitat you'd have to, you know. And have you got a cat? No, we've got bugs. Just bugs at the moment.
I know at work we had a pallet of, I think it was tomatoes delivered from, might have been Cyprus, and there was a praying mantis in the pallet.
Ooh.
And the boss at home took his home, had it in an enclosure, used to feed it, and he had it for about 2-3 years. It was
Wow.
it was like, well, it
It's
ain't
there.
native to this country, it's just going to get eaten or die. So he just took it home, made it in an enclosure, and fed it and kept it for like 2 or 3 years.
Wow. That's
Um,
interesting.
I,
Yes.
I must admit, I'm not very nice. If I was presented with those two choices to release it, and it'll probably die on its own, or hand it over so it can be destroyed by via customs. I would probably have it destroyed just to make sure that the species doesn't escape, because I can't rely on my own competency, because that's how a lot of invasive animal species end up in circulation anyway, is that someone thinks, oh, I'll just keep this as a pet, and then it escapes and then ends up breeding, and then you destroy an entire natural
Ecosystem. Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just my opinion on that. I do agree with your system of looking after it as well, because
Mm.
I think that is quite humane to do so, but
I
I'd
find
rather
it as a
side on the
duty. I
yeah.
think we've got
I err on the side
one
of
thing
caution.
to do in this world, and our duty to the animal species, insects or whatever, and plant life and everything. We've got a duty to keep it alive as long as possible, especially now. People are starting to realise now
I,
what's happening,
I,
especially with
don't,
the decline.
I don't know. There's only one animal I can think of. I'd have to disagree with you on that, and that's pandas. What the hell happened to pandas? What point in the evolutionary trail you go from like, oh, I'm a big buff scary bear, I can rip things apart with my big claws and eat them,
They
to
haven't.
oh, but just eat a stick. Like, what the heck?
And about pandas, they haven't got the best
Brains?
brains. Yes, they haven't got the survival instincts. It's like if bamboo was gone, I'd be completely stuffed. You know what I mean?
You know, just
And
that you
even
can give them the perfect environment with as much bamboo, enough care that they need, and they're just too dumb to reproduce.
yep,
See, I'd say that about people, but there's been a lot of people that do nothing but breed.
that's true.
Do you watch like panda videos, and like one of them will climb up a tree, fall down on its head, and then do the same thing 3 or 4 times before it realises that ain't a good idea. They're quite entertaining to watch, but they're
I think
so
that's why they
dull bred.
keep them alive like that long, because they bring money into the country in China, and they're that silly to watch.
They're like
It's like
six
going to
foot
a
toddlers.
circus. Yeah,
They're like 6 foot toddlers.
yeah, they are. They're just
Even
toddlers.
fully grown adults, they're toddlers.
Mm. I agree. I think we should be concentrating. I mean, pandas, yeah, but there's more species out there that need protection. In particular, bringing it back round to the Picasso bug. I said I'd talk to you about this earlier. There's actually the IUCH, which is the International Union for Conservation of Nature, red list of threatened species, which is described as the risk being mainly to this, um, to this species is the loss of their habitat and obviously climate change, because where they live in Africa, there's a lot of obviously there's deforestation, there's human encroach, they're encroaching on their habitat. It's and obviously there's farmlands and such.
It's happening everywhere because there's a high
Yeah, it
demand
is.
for vegetables or meat, plant-based products in replace of meat products.
Yeah.
They are basically taking up more land to plant these, which is affecting, you know, insects, birds, because the insects have been affected, mammals, shrews, mice. It has that much of a big impact on the patch of land you're growing stuff on. It has more of an impact than if you were
If there was
eating.
just cattle there, yeah.
Which is why I
Cattle
think.
doesn't take up that much
Yeah.
space.
Well, I ain't saying everyone's just got to eat meat. It's
No,
just
no,
they
it's
should invest more in doing vertical growing indoors
yeah.
under a UV light.
I agree.
Choose. You've got a big factory doing nothing.
We can't hear you very well.
Grow up.
You're saying that vertical gardening.
Yeah, vertical
I agree,
gardens
yeah.
indoors.
Yeah.
Rather than taking over the field.
Yeah.
You've got an abandoned airport, for example.
That would have been fantastic for vertical
Turn it into
gardens.
a great big greenhouse.
Yeah.
Vertical gardens.
The science,
UV
the science is there, but it's the investment they don't want to invest in it, which is
If
awful.
If Matt Damon can grow potatoes on the moon, I think we can grow vegetables in a greenhouse.
After all, he's Matt Damon.
Anyway, you know what? Back to this. Yes, the dry, arid space of Mars would be, given a certain, obviously, other things would be okay for this species because they also live in a dry, arid environment. See what I did there?
Ah,
You need, you obviously you need oxygen and plants and whatnot, but
well, that's
we'll
why you
just
bring
gloss
them up.
over that part there. So this is actually they're classed as a stable species by the IUCH. They're actually not classed as a threatened species, but they should be because they're hard to keep track of. Obviously, because of the scarcity, the rarity of seeing one, obviously that should push them onto the at least threatened list. But I think we're rounding off on that point, really. So, to lighten things up, we're going to go over to Kyle.
Hello.
Hello. One thing I didn't do though is put that picture in the Discord.
Yes. Well, mine. The thing I'm going to be talking about is cryptids, because cryptology and whatnot. Yeah, mine. The crypto. The crypto creature I've picked is very famous, and it appears apparently in two kind of spots, and that
Yeah.
would be the lizard man of scrap or swamp, which yes, I think that's how I pronounce it. Scrap. Um, and it's in South Carolina, but the lizard man of Lee Country is also a name for it as well, which it is related to the frogman of another area, but I forget exactly what the frogman bit is about. But
Yeah.
essentially, it's apparently a like a 7 foot entity that can stand like they. It's basically a big lizard man that stands on two legs and is like 7 foot tall and will mess up your car. Apparently, that's one of the things that
Nice.
this creature apparently does. Because in its original sighting in the late 1980s, um, this is where lizard man fever like really picked up in South Carolina, and the essentially the man that first encountered this apparent lizard man described the lizard to police officers that two police officers that were called in because he demanded protection for his family from what he witnessed. When officers arrived, what they found was several dead farm animals, and in particularly a dead coyote. The farm animals uh, were cattle apparently, and as well as a few domesticated house cats apparently were also found dead on the scene as well. The
Can I,
car itself was apparently ripped apart by fangs and teeth.
wow.
Um, it, I say teeth. I mean, obviously it's fangs. Like, I don't know why I said fangs and teeth.
I can't quite find a copyright-free picture of it.
Yeah, no, the reason why I'm gonna get to that bit soon. Why you can't find a copyright-free version of the Lizard Man?
It's not going to be creepypasta or something, is
No, it's not a creepypasta technically. It is a folklore cryptid creature that apparently lives out in the swamps. That
Yeah.
comes out on highways apparently to attack people's vehicles. Like one gentleman was attacked on the highway by the apparent lizard man, and he shot the lizard with his pistol, I believe it was, and had uh, brought in samples of the creature's blood into the police office. But the man was
Yeah.
then later on arrested for creating a hoax as well as illegally owning a firearm because he reneged on his
Oh.
witness statement that he was attacked by a lizard man.
So naughty
Um,
boy shouldn't have weapons.
yeah, yes, he was.
Was he
I
on
think
he's on probation or something?
I don't know. I think he was like either 17 or 19 years old at the time. I can't quite.
Really?
I'm not familiar with the laws of that particular area when it comes to like gun laws. So I assume the reason why he illegally had the firearm, I presume it's because he didn't have his license for it. Like it wasn't a licensed pistol.
So I'm not sure how guns are regulated really in America. Whether you have to have license for so long or whether it's just a license for a
Uh,
particular firearm. Because I'm not sure on
it's
the age restriction either.
I'm not sure on the age restriction, but I know it's common practice pretty much in all states to if you own a gun, you have to own a license and have it registered, and you usually join a some kind of gun safety advocate group. Like they're in favor of guns, but they also teach you like how to be safe with guns as well. That's usually how it works because it under federal law, I think it is, you have to have the license at the very least. Um, but yes, so
We'll
that
just
turned out to be a hoax. The
so it was a genuine hoax then.
Yeah, that one was genuinely a hoax. The other chap in the first story, um, the office, one of the sheriffs that was there, said that the man's story didn't change, but there was a skeptical cryptologist, I believe it was, researcher that was looking into the lizard man, and he believes that the sheriff says like, oh, the man's story never changes, like from the description about the creature having like red eyes, it scaly like lizard skin, it had like three three fingers on each hand,
Yeah.
and it had like like those three free free toed like feet that it would like walk around on.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's quite a
but
striking figure though,
his
to be honest.
story his story kind of changed every time he said it, according to the researcher. But it was like little bits here and there,
So
which
it's not just a
sounds
case of like when you remember things, you think that you're remembering things, but you're adding things on when it's years down the line.
yeah basically. Which could be a possibility that he is telling the same story. It's just there's little changes here and there because his memory's getting foggy, or he is indeed telling a lie and it's only getting more fantastical every time he tells it. That's
Because he's
usually an
getting attention
indication of
for
a
it.
lie. Hmm Well, I mean,
That's
but
quite interesting.
as, as you were saying about, I can't find a non-copyrighted image of
Yeah.
this particular creature, is because indeed there was a massive influx of tourism around the lizard man, and
As usual.
lots of revenue was made from it. So
Like the
much
Mothman.
so, a local radio station started offering $1 million reward to anyone who could capture the creature alive.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, yeah. I doubt a radio station could even afford that, but that's just my opinion. Um,
Yeah. Radio ain't
uh,
completely dead yet.
yeah, that's true. Radio is still kept alive by people that travel, especially truckers that spend a lot of the time long hauling things. Shout
Well,
out to truckers
actually,
and lorry
people
drivers here.
people in garages they've got the radio on all day. People in warehouses have sometimes are allowed to have the radio on. It depends, and like basically work people really that listen to radio. Just thought I'd throw
Uh,
that fact in there.
but
So there's something.
back to the lizard man. So the
Yeah.
lizard man essentially looks like a crocodile that stands on two legs, and that's what a lot of police officers reasoned that the lizard man actually was. It was just a crocodile. Well, I don't know if it was crocodile, maybe an alligator. I
My
forget which.
boy is learning how to walk. Leave him alone.
Yeah, exactly. Or some other type of lizard, possibly a scape lizard, like an iguana, for example, that was standing on two legs. So it was either standing in a threatening pose to like back off, bro, I'll
Yeah, they
bite you,
actually
or
sometimes they do that though, don't they?
they do, do that, or it was trying to clamber up something, like climb up something.
Yeah.
But
He's
which
just leaning.
that's what.
He's just leaning against a log. So
So, bro. Like Yogi Bear, like I'm here to steal your picnic basket and
no, I
destroy
mean,
your car. Don't
I'm
worry about
here.
it.
It's I'm here to kill your car.
Yep. Hey, hey, hey. I need your transmission, boo boo. Right. Anyway,
I'm a Yogi
another.
Bear. Uh-huh.
It, uh it, more copyrighted characters.
No, not at all. Sir Joke, the bear, is Russian.
Yes. Wouldn't
The
surprise me if that
dancing
did exist.
bear.
The dancing bear. Um.
He's
So,
still, he's
as
stealing
I
your vodka.
as I mentioned about the frogmen as well, which is also related to this story,
Yeah.
because apparently they had sightings of lizard men there, which technically they described them as big frogs. But
Yeah.
what they found out was it was an escaped iguana, if I remember correctly.
That's one big
Because
iguana.
the iguanas are huge. They're surprisingly big. I mean, I wouldn't say they're massive like crocodile size,
With
but
a, yeah, I think the tail makes up most of the body. I think the tail's twice. It's the body length of,
mm.
just on the yeah, that.
uh, but but in the case of the frogman, when the iguana was unfortunately shot, the police shot first and asked questions later, sort of
the,
approach to the iguana.
the American kind of.
Yeah. Shoot first, ask questions later. The iguana was killed, if I remember correctly, and then the frogmen stopped appearing, like throughout the town and whatnot. So obviously,
Oh.
people were seeing this poor iguana at weird angles or something like that, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's a frogman!" Like, I do feel bad for the
I felt
iguana.
really bad for him.
Apparently, the iguana was somebody's escaped pet. Um,
We have an Andy.
Welcome.
and Andy.
I'm just adjusting the laptop. What's it?
And more criticisms
What,
onto
leave on
this.
it.
And more criticisms into the lizard man story as well, is as I mentioned, the town found it very profitable to sell this lizard man and tell stories about the lizard man because it was a very big boon to that particular area of South Carolina.
Yeah,
They
that's what I
they
mean.
they
It brings money
still
in, doesn't it?
sell yeah, they still sell lizard man T-shirts even now. I'm pretty sure.
Even though it's been debunked,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. The damage on that man's car was found. Do you remember when I mentioned that coyote earlier?
Yeah.
The coyote was dead as well, but the man argued um, against the DNA evidence that was found on the car. Well, so essentially, it has been known that canines do attack cars and do have enough bite strength to actually bend and morph the metal, like when they clamp down on it. I've seen videos of this happening before. Coyotes are a type of canine, I believe.
And
Uh, and
dogs,
so
funny
this,
enough, have been dogs. Funny enough, there's been a lot of dogs, especially wild dogs, that actually go for the wheels. And there's a lot of video out there if you want to have a look at. It's quite funny. Some of them are quite funny, biting and piercing the tires of a police vehicle,
yeah, I've seen that.
and
That
they're
was
just
quite funny.
running away. He's like, "You sod!" And there was
Yep,
that
I've
dog
seen.
that apparently, right, he burst the tire of a police vehicle, and then he did the other wheel, and then another car showed up, a police vehicle, to back him up, and then he burst the wheels of that car, and then he just kept going. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" And this was a domesticated dog.
Was it in Florida?
Might have been in Florida, yeah.
But yeah, Florida dog, the Florida man's dog, purely surviving on math. Um, yeah. So what they found is a lot of the DNA on the DNA on the first story. That chap's damaged, like metalworking on his car. It wasn't the tires. It was like the actual metal of the front bumpers. I think it was.
Wow.
Like the wheel arches.
So it was destroying
Uh,
the wheel arches and the front bumper of the car.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. I think that was the damage. I can't recall 100% off the top of my head. I did not write down the damage report in my notes. Yes, I am reading off notes right now. Yes, I know it is terrible.
It's not. It's
Um,
professional.
right. Anyway, back
That's
to
what I
what I was
did.
saying. Um, so what they found in the original story is that Coyote's DNA was located on the car, but the man argued that the it must have been blood from not the coyote, like it was from the coyote, but it was from the mouth of whatever damaged his car. But in several cases where they found vehicles that were damaged, the DNA that they found traced back to either domesticated dog breed or some type of coyote.
Yeah, but the
Um,
DNA might
uh,
have also come from them having an incident with them on the road, hitting the animal, or if it wasn't seen. You know what I mean? They could say, "Oh, a deer attacked my car," whereas a while before that they'd hit a deer.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's not like, oh, you accidentally run over a dog, caused
yeah,
damage to your car.
yeah.
It'd be like, oh, it was the lizard man that did it. Run over a hobo. Oh, it was the lizard man that damaged my car. Ignore the dead man in the bush. I mean, you
Let's
never
move
know.
away. Let's move away from that. That Let's not have
but
that
uh,
vision.
but all evidence suggests the
I
lizard
don't know if it will.
man of um, the swamps probably doesn't exist. It's most likely like domesticated dogs or
Jumped up.
wild coyotes that are just damaging vehicles, and people are putting that vehicle damage to this mythical lizard man. As a lot of the media at the time, the people that reported seeing the lizard man, a lot of their descriptions matched a movie lizard man monster that was currently out in the theaters at the time as well.
So I'm just showing
And that is a
people,
tiny bit.
trying to show them the little tropical isopod that we've got, but the camera's not the best. It's
Yep.
a cheap camera. It's what I could afford. Camera.
Baby ones, anyway.
And we've got babies. Yeah.
And of course, in 2015, there was apparent video and photo evidence of the alleged lizard man, but that was given to a TV station. But the TV station, it was received from anonymous, unknown sources, so you can't exactly trust that either.
Yeah, you need some genuine first person, and you need video evidence
Yeah. Which, like as I said, the video
that
evidence
hasn't
could
been
also have been.
tampered with.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly. Considering it comes from a TV station and the Lizard Man is still a money bringer, I can understand why a TV station would want to have fake footage or fake photos to bring in that revenue into the station about the Lizard Man. So, in
It's
short, it looks
yeah.
like the Lizard Man does not exist.
No, I
It
wouldn't put
has,
more coins in that slot.
yeah. So there doesn't seem to be any actual evidence here, and that's a key fact of something being encrypted is it's something that could be plausibly existing. Hence why
Plausibly, yeah.
Sasquatch, yeah, hence why Sasquatch is still encrypted is because there's plausibility there, even though that some of the evidence is
Or
nonsensical.
janky.
Uh, the I think Nessie as well, the Loch Ness monster, also needs to be declassified as a cryptid as well because all the evidence for the Loch Ness monster existing has been proven all to be fake nonsense. Because the original picture of the Loch Ness monster was omitted to by the original person that took the picture. They took the picture just to prove just to trick the media because he hated the media. He didn't like the media. He didn't believe the media or anything like that. So he was like, one day he was like, I think he was with a mate. One day they decided to fake the Loch Ness monster and then put in the pictures. Oh, I found this monster, and the entire time they were laughing at him,
Well,
basically.
funny enough, I was actually listening to a story about this, and apparently, this gentleman and his son decided to get. Well, he in particular decided to get back at a associate of his, and he and his son created the Loch Ness and put it in the water and persuaded this their target really to take the pictures and to share them and say they were genuine for a time until it wasn't until after the son and father had died that this gentleman who took the pictures actually admitted that they were fake. And this was all to
Yeah,
get this to get him back. He basically was a professor or something, and it was to tarnish his reputation.
They did
right.
Yeah,
like a survey of the lock, like searching
they did.
and
Yeah.
doing a general survey, and the only thing that was close and relative to the Loch Ness monster they found is while they was filming a film back in the 70s or 60s, they had a prop and one of their props sank, and they found this
Years later, yeah,
prop of the Loch Ness under the water,
yeah.
and that was like the closest thing to like actually finding it.
Oh, did you hear about this? Right. Apparently, 2000 and something. I have to get my facts really, but I wasn't prepared for this. But oops. Apparently they did a DNA thing of the lake, and apparently they found several species in the loch. However, the one thing that they were looking for was an unidentifiable DNA strand or unfamiliar DNA strand. Um,
Hmm.
they couldn't find it. But the only way people have gone against this is to say that perhaps that Nessie was on a seasonal thing. So
Right.
I don't believe that. There's got to be. I don't really believe that there's actually something like the Loch Ness out
The only
there.
way it is one if there was more than one, because it couldn't be the only one
Yeah.
in there. If there is, it's years old and it's the only last one. And for how big it is, there'd have to be some like underwater opening and a tunnel leading to
Actually,
another lake
apparently
or
there
bigger
is.
than it actually is.
Apparently it leads out. I'll just swap
It
this
does
round.
lead out.
Swap it round, see if you can hear him a little better.
And how can I hear some of it?
No, so as
Yeah.
everybody else can hear you. If I put the mic out on that side, can you still hear me and Andy?
Yeah, I
I
can hear
ain't
you.
talking
Okay.
though. Oh god. Stop yawning.
He's yawning though.
Oh no,
And if you
that's
yawn
gonna be
out
weird.
there, that means you're not a sociopath. Because yawning is infectious, and apparently, if you have some kind of psychopathy, like a sociopath or somebody that lacks empathy with others, um, uh, if you, it's not guaranteed, obviously, because sometimes you won't yawn. But
Thank you, I just
people with
yawned.
a particular psychological issue don't yawn, like
I'm
other
not
people
covering.
do
I'm
when
not covering.
exposed to yawning.
I'm
Hmm?
not covering. No, the thing,
You're
that's
not
it, that's
covering.
it. I'm not covering it.
You only said the word yawned then and I had to fight back a yawn.
Oh, I know, I yawn.
Yeah, yeah, he said. I mean,
It's a big
sometimes you're just
horrible
tired.
yawn on camera.
Speaking about cryptid sounds.
I took this off my head and my head looked like it gone up at an angle because of my hair. So that's quite an interesting one. Have you got any more for us?
That was the quick cryptid lowdown of the notes that I had on the lizard man. I only really pulled up one cryptid, but I did do research on a mythological creature as well. But I wasn't sure if I was saving that for another conversation later or not.
Yeah, actually, we can actually say that for another one. I'll just double check what time we're on. I'm on a second camera here. What we on? No, I want how long this has been going on. See, I haven't got my system. Give me a second. But yeah, if anyone else has got any cryptids that they want us to have a look at, we will definitely have a look at and have a jolly old conversation about it. That you can join in with us in the chat.
We could talk more famous cryptids like the lizard man is a famed one. But you got the Mothman. The Mothman's a really good one. I do like the Mothman, especially the various designs of the Mothman people have came up with over the years. It's very cool.
Me, I'm not one of them
Um,
at all.
mm, you got the Grafton monster.
Hmm.
In fact, you'll find that a lot of cryptid sightings and cryptid creatures actually come from the Carolina like areas,
Like
like
Louisiana
South
and
Carolina.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is
Um,
just, it's got that natural environment, it's just spooky.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
I,
Because there's lots of misidentification to be done out in nature, especially when you're not
yeah.
sure what you're looking at. Because like the tales of like banshees and stuff like that most likely stem from foxes.
Yeah. I,
Because after all, foxes have some scary assholes.
it's the way that they move like cats, but they're canines.
That's true. They are an odd animal.
Hmm. Not I
Not
just.
like a platypus though.
Yeah, that's a conundrum wrapped inside an egg that's wrapped inside another thing.
Yes,
That has a
conundrum
tiny
wrapped
gem
within a
inside it.
yes, a tiny
Tiny
gem of
gem of
truth.
intelligence. Oh, you went truth. I went intelligence.
Oh, I was
Knowledge.
thi- uh, I was thinking, what's that show called? The one with the one where you have the guy where he like comes out and he's just like It's a black and white show. It's like, think about the theater of the mind. And what is actually behind that scary door?
That was
I
the
forget what
South Park version of
Twilight
Scary
Zone.
Door.
That's it. Twilight
Yeah.
Zone. Twilight Zone.
I think no, was it South Park? No, The Simpsons I think did the Scary Door, didn't they? On
I
one of
thought
the
it was
Halloween things.
Futurama. I thought it was Futurama that did the scary door.
It's all the same. It's all made
It is
by
by
Matt
the same
Groening,
people, this is
so he's probably passed one over to another anyway.
True.
My Futurama
True.
and
Yeah,
Simpsons.
yeah. Futurama, Simpsons, Matt Groening. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
probably wrap it up now. We're coming up to about an hour. So, like I say, if you want to join in our chat, join our chat. We love questions. I love questions, and it gives us a bit more to interact. Gives us a bit of time to interact with you guys as well. If there's any messages, if you've lasted this long, thank you. I would really appreciate it. Just listening to me waffle on. Just leave it below in the messages on YouTube, or join us next time on Twitch as well. I'll link it in my channel banner on YouTube on the bottom right hand side. Well, just interact with us. Come on, guys. Where's all this interaction? Come on.
Yeah, if you
Not
got any
ready?
answers, if you got any answers, we'll do our best to question them.
I mean, we could also do that too.
Well, get the
Why not?
answers and then we ask the question. So can you?
Exactly. Why not?
What?
Role
That's a
reversal.
game show. That game show didn't they give you the?
It was on Mock the Week.
Oh,
and on
yeah.
no, they do it in America as well.
Yeah, I forget what the show's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, either
What-
or. You want to ask us a question? Ask us a question. Give us an answer. At the bottom in the messages, write a Q for the question, and then just write answer, and then.
I still like give us an answer and we'll do our best to question.
All right then. Just write answer, and then just write a word, and then we'll come up with a question.
Critical minds question every answer that they receive.
Yes, challenge us. We want to do some research. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We need you. You guys, come on. In the chat here. We love you guys. We need you.
Well, I love myself first, of course, but I don't know about chat because chat is all the way down there where they belong. Beneath my
I looked at the second
glorious
screen then and there was a
shining.
slight delay and you was like, doing like this with your
Magnificent.
hands. It looked like you was doing a Doctor Strange impression.
Oh, I'm doing a Doctor Strange.
And of course I joke. We're all equal because we're all people after all. Right, anyway. Magic time.
He's saying I look
okay,
like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I know, but Doctor Fate is clearly better than Doctor Strange. I'll fight you.
I'll just leave you to it, to be honest. I'll just sit there and watch it. I'll sit there with my camera and a drink and just, yeah, okay.
Just do
Nice.
nerd battle. Begin.
So again, that's thank you for joining us, and this is a goodbye from me, Kayla,
Bye.
and a goodbye from Andy, and a goodbye from Chaplain Keys.
Colin.
Colin.
The Chaplain Keys, shall bring slaughter to the filthy Xenos.
No, we won't. No, we
Let
won't.
the
That-
reign of the God
Come on, we've
Emperor
been-
last for more than 10,000 millennia. Let it last for all eternity.
We've been great all the way through this session, and it's just like
For the
just
God
straight
Emperor
there,
and his
and then you just
holy
go
life.
right. Anyway, so catch you
And-
next time.
Yes.
Good vibes. Have a great day, evening, whatever it is. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.